Hello, time for another video. Just wanted to record a quick video on our estimate follow-up process. It's something we struggled with for a long time, have just recently rebuilt a campaign, kind of a common theme you're seeing. I'm posting videos on all of our automation rebuilds just so we can, it's kind of fun. It's something I struggled with for a long time and wanted to share what's working for us and where we're using it. So the package we use is Infusionsoft. It's kind of irrelevant what you use, but this is just what we're using. I'm not really delving too far into what Infusionsoft is. Just want to talk specifically about automation and why it's so important and where it fits. So when we onboard a customer, there's other videos I recorded on leads, how we handle leads. But once we get out and do an estimate with a customer and we submit an estimate to them, we were seeing a significant amount of those customers that weren't translating into paying customers, converting, and we estimated it was about 20 to 25% that it wanted to buy, that intended on buying, but never bought just because they forgot, they're lazy, whatever reason it is. So we want to, or they bought with somebody else who made it easier to do business with them, and so we wanted to plug those holes, and automation's a phenomenal way to do that. And we just never could come up with a great system that would allow us to follow up on all of our leads and make sure to get a hold of that customer. So we wrote some automation. It's working really well for us, and I just wanted to show you guys what we're doing and see if you could figure out, do it for yourself. It's great. I want everybody to grow like we've grown, and this is how we're doing it. So I'm sharing my secret sauce. So the first thing we do is fill out a form internally, and one of our office team or our sales guy says, I did an estimate for a customer, and when they do it, it triggers this particular automation right here. This is about 2 weeks ago we rebuilt this, so these numbers aren't very great because it's a slow season where we're at. So this is for my landscape company. So what we do first is we get them out, we get them started in the automation, and after 1 day, if we haven't heard from them, then we just want to do a quick poke, a quick, hey, wonder where things are going. So I only currently am doing one email as a follow-up to the estimate. We're doing some testing. We've gone back and forth. We found that every market is different. I have some friends I've helped do this for, and they do an email at every one of these stages, and so it works a little different for everywhere. I don't find that I get that same result, and so I don't send that many emails, and we're testing, so maybe we will down the road. So the first thing I do is that the first day I send a plain text email that just says, hey, haven't heard back from you on your estimate, wanted to see if I could answer any questions for you, and we shoot that out to them the first day. I love plain text emails. I'm not a big fan of HTML emails. HTML emails are the ones that have pictures in them and they look really pretty. My problem with pretty emails is that people don't like to be sold to. People want to be conversed with and talked to and have conversations and build relationships. They don't want to be sold to. And so I try to make sure that everything I send out is in plain text or is as plain text as I can get it. And the other thing is a lot of email clients block images. And so the more code and HTML and imaging you put inside your email, the worse your chances of getting the customer to actually open the email and do what you wanted to do is lower with HTML. It's a lot higher chance the less fancy stuff you have in the email. So I send one plain text email that just says, hey, how you doing? Can I help you? Answer any questions? Did you want to move forward? Very basic, very quick, and I get a great response from that. I'll bet you 10% of the people I send that email to respond to me, which is pretty good for that kind of an email. It's not as some of the people have already responded and bought our service, so they don't respond to the email because they already bought the service. Second thing that I do is after 3 days, so that this area here, this phase is when I send the email, I wait till 3 days and I set up a task for somebody in the office to call the customer. And when we call them, we just say, hey, this is Chad from More Lawn and Landscape. Just wanted to ask you if you had any questions about this quote we sent to you and if we can get you signed up. And 90% of the time, nobody answers. We leave a lot of voicemails. And I really firmly believe that this voicemail process is very powerful. Branding says you need to touch somebody 6 to 10 times. Lots of different people give you different figures and how often you actually have to touch them. the more times you do, the more times you get your name and brand in front of them, whether it's visual or on Facebook or whatever it might be. And a voicemail counts as a touch. It's you having a contact or an interaction with a customer. The more times you touch them, the better your chances of them doing business with you are. So we want to be persistent. So at the third day, we make a phone call. We generally just leave them a voicemail. We wait 2 more days, and then we call them back again, and we leave them another voicemail. It's all task-driven, so our staff doesn't have to keep track of or guess which people they called and which people they don't call. It's all automated for them. So all they do is log in at the beginning of the day, and throughout the day. We only have these calls made twice a day, once at the beginning of the day and once at the end of the day. And we call at 3 days. We call again 2 days later on the 5th day. We call again on the 7th day. We call again on the 10th day, the 13th day, and the 20th day. And so we call this the 20 days to close process. So this is a process we use to say, we want to follow up 7 times, and by the end of that 20th day, we want to push somebody to a purchase decision. We either want that person to buy, or we want a person to tell us that they don't want to buy. And so we want to make sure we get on top of them until they give that decision. So in our automation, once they've made a decision, it pulls them all the way out of this and keeps track of the people that we've gone through. So we had 18 people that have bought. They're all the way through this automation cycle, and they're over here. This is about 2 weeks old. You can see how many people have gone through this completely. So that looks like there was 38 people who have entered this process, and 18 of them are done. So the other people, 37 minus 18, 19 people or whatever it is, are still stuck inside here. But it's really cool to be able to see how many people drop off after each one of these cycles. This is telling us that we're getting to an answer at a certain point in our follow-up cycle. So the further they're getting down this path, the more people we're converting. So it's really cool to see people falling off quickly. So you can see that 37 people got started. We sold 8 people within the first day. That's great. And then you can see 6 more people dropped off after we could before we could get that second phone call task to be initiated. That's awesome. And you can see how quickly, via the first week, more than half of the people, 37 to 14, that's 23 people, which is more than half, it's about 2/3. We're getting 2/3 of the people to a buying decision, either a yes or a no, within the first 7 days. For me, that's our goal. Our goal is to just get to a buying decision. And so we're doing that. We're driving them through the process, and we're able to track, because of the way we've designed this, we're able to track where in our buying process people are buying or falling off. And it's great because if we want to make a tweak or a change, it's really easy for us to keep track of where we need to make that change and what kind of change we need to make. So pretty cool process. Did take us a long time, a lot of troubleshooting to design it the way it is and make it so we could have really great reporting and show us where in the process these people are falling off. And it does take quite a bit of work on the back end. We built some. We have one simple form that our office team can use to track and keep track of where the people are at in the process to make sure we report it correctly. This is just all this cycle is, or this campaign. That's what it's called in Infusionsoft. This campaign is just the 20 days to close process. It interacts with everything else we do, but this particular process is just our 20 days to close. So pretty cool. If it's something you would like to implement, I'd be happy to answer some questions. Is anybody else doing anything like this in your business? Is this something that you think would be beneficial? How could you implement this? Maybe you don't do 20 days, maybe you do 2 reminders. But I think that the plain text email at the 1 day mark, we call it day 2 in the system, is the most valuable part of this whole process. But the follow-ups after that are great. And you could add emails anywhere you wanted in here. I think that this can scare people away, but it just depends on your market and how your company is presented. I will definitely be adding more emails as time goes on, but this is what's been working for us so far. So if you have any questions, let me know, and shoot me an email, chad@simplegrowthsystem.com. And appreciate it, guys. Have a great night.